If you didn't know, you better get ready because it is the Empowered Morning Show. We are here this morning,
Yes.
rooted in baby. Excited about this day. This is a Thursday, honey. Y'all know. Come on. Miss Phyllis, you got me thrown off. You talking about good morning, Wednesday morning. Look,
Look,
first morning, this week has went by so fast. I'm telling you, we are
so
already at the 10th day of July. And when you talk about that, girl, this month is rolling. Are you rolling with it? Are you moving with it? Are you doing what you need to do? Yes,
fast.
come with it. She said, happy, thankful, thoughtful, and thriving Thursday.
Yes.
Yes, come on with the T's. Get it together, y'all, and rise and shine. You know, my mom used to tell me that all the time. Rise and shine. When you get up in the morning, don't just get up. Get up with
Right.
purpose. Get up with passion. Get up with a positive mindset for the day,
Right.
knowing that you have the decision. You can make the choice. You can choose how you want your day to go. You wake up in the morning, and sometimes you may get out there bed and you might feel a couple of aches and pains, or you may be thinking, I
Right.
got this meeting this morning, or I got a project deadline due. But how you show up for it, the mindset that you have as you get ready to start your day, that's the game changer. That
Right.
is the game changer. It's how your mindset is set. You have to have in your mind that this is a day that the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. That's a choice. It's a lot of people that get up and they're depressed, or they get
Yeah.
up and then get right back in the bed because they just don't want to face the day. I know there's a lot of heartache. I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
pain. I know there's a lot of things going on that you may not want to face. But at the end of the day, you got to choose you. And when you choose yourself, that means you got to put on your game face, square your shoulders up, and say, whatever comes my way today, guess what? God got my back and I can handle that thing. Period. Regina, how are you this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. You know what? I am. I'm very thankful and grateful. You have those moments where you just sit and meditate, and you're like, you know what? It's a blessing just to be here.
It is.
It's something so simple. It's a blessing just to be here.
It is. It
You know?
doesn't take all of the stuff sometimes that we do, but if you do that, that's great because we're all individuals and we're in different levels. You know, you riding
Yes.
down the interstate, some people like to be on the far right, slow lane.
Right.
Others like me like to be in the fast lane. And then there's
Right.
other people who just like to be in the middle and they go back and forth depending on how traffic flows.
Right.
Whatever lane you need to be in, get in it, but get in it and be thankful. Get
Right.
in it and be grateful. Miss Phyllis said, yes, having a positive mindset to start your day is very important each day. You got to choose it. You got to choose you and how you're going to show up. You got to choose to be grateful because I talked to a couple of people yesterday. You know, we were talking about the flood that happened in Texas. And so, keep everybody who was involved in that connected to that. Have people that they love that are still missing. or lost people as a result of that flood. Do you know that was 45 minutes of that water coming? That's something that people weren't expecting. You send your kids to a camp, you're not expecting to hear that they're missing or that they died as a result of that. So every day, you don't know when it's your last day. You don't know when it's somebody you love's last day. It's not written on there. It's not a memo that you get to say, oh, hey, just want to let you know, check in with such and such because today's their last day. We don't have that luxury of knowing. So with that being said, every day has to be a day that you choose to have a great day. Every day should be a day that you choose to say, you know what? I'm not going to let my financial issues, my job issues, health issues, I'm not going to let that keep me in a place where I can't enjoy the breath that I take in the morning. I can enjoy and anticipate that today is going to be a great day. It's up to you to make that choice. It's up to you to switch your mindset into
Mhm.
claiming
Yeah.
today is going to be my day.
Yeah.
Claiming that today is going to be my day.
That's
So we were going to talk about, just life in general
right.
and choosing you. That's the most powerful thing that you can do, choosing yourself. And when I say that, when you choose yourself, you have to choose who's in your surroundings. Who are you connected to?
That's
Who's
right.
pouring into you? Who are you listening to? Who's advising
Exactly. And you know what
you?
and you know what, things happen always for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And so you don't get caught off like you're surprised. These are the times where you have to be very sharp with your discernment of
Yeah.
life, with people, with your whole being. And so when you start really paying attention of like why things are happening because it seems like a little off or odd, there's always a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, in due time, God always reveals anything that, that has been done in the dark always comes to the light.
Mm.
So don't ever worry about, like, a lot of times people, they'll go through things and they begin to put on that anxiety or depression on themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're carrying everything that was never really to be attached to them. It was never for them to hold on to. You see what I'm saying? So you're having all these
Exactly.
toxic behaviors, and your moods are up and down. You're sporadic with your thinking, even with your habits and stuff. And so you have to think about like what is my environment? What is your environment on a daily basis? What is your environment for your life? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like for our personal life. Like what is your personal environment and your how is it your today everyday habits? Are they make helping you flourish
Mm-hmm.
without the stress? You're gonna have some, but is it more stress because you're really not in the you're forcing it? If
Yeah.
that what I'm saying? When you force something to fit and it doesn't fit,
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Mm-hmm.
just saying, "Okay, God, I'm gonna let you just take total control of the situation," because we're not in control of anything,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So we're not in control of anything. But a lot of times we let fear and doubt and and our own flesh to keep arising, and we um, sometimes we call it that this is God's will, when
Mm-hmm.
in reality it's not God's will. It's us putting our agenda on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And God's will, it's an overflow.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think how we were talking about this, was it yesterday? It's like, you know what? You might be going through that good time, that period.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going good, right?
Right.
They're going good. But you know what? Don't get too comfortable. You know, be thankful, be grateful in these times,
Right.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't know when, where, or how that something could come up. Are you prepared? See, a lot of things too, people don't pay attention to preparation.
True. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Are you prepared for certain things that could come about? Are you prepared? Do you think ahead like that?
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Are you thinking ahead just a little bit to be prepared for whatever situation comes?
Are you prepared for the situations that come? That is something to think about, because I feel like a lot of times we get so overwhelmed, we get so stressed out, we get stuck, we start procrastinating. And run past us, sometimes we are carrying the burdens of others
Yeah,
and not allowing God to do his work in them. It's learning when to let go and let God. We're enabling and not empowering. And that's saying something right there because, people have a tendency to bring something to you. And, for some people, you feel like it's your job to help save them or help make things better for them. But you know how they say you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can talk to people, some people all day. You can try and encourage them. You can try and tell them to be grateful and thankful, but the choice is yours.
right.
And like Reverend Pat said, sometimes we enable others, you
That's
know,
right.
um, to stay in their mess, because you can
Yeah.
empathize with people, but at the same time, you want to see them win. You want to see
Right.
them be better. You want to see them move forward. And a lot of people are just stuck. And when they're stuck, sometimes we
They're
think
gonna
that we're
stay
empowering.
stuck. They're gonna stay stuck. They're gonna stay stuck. But you have the thing is the mindset, you guys, is you can't jam yourself up.
Hmm.
That's when you start forcing stuff. When you start having to figure a way of how to do something, you're forcing it.
Yes,
When God is meant for it to be, it will be. I mean, it will literally won't even be a struggle.
exactly.
It won't be a struggle. So when you take the stress off of it, when you say, okay, if it's your will, then it shall be done. You're still working towards it.
Hmm.
But you say while you're working towards it, when it's that time, it's not a struggle. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we
It's
try to force it because we want it now. And
yes,
maybe
exactly.
God's saying it's just not now. When you're forcing it,
Hmm.
you got to think that goes
Whatever happens should
time.
be with ease. It should be with
It
ease.
has to be with ease because where do you think the peace comes from?
Exactly. The
The
peace
peace
that
comes from
surpasses all
knowing that you're
understanding.
knowing, and when you're knowing that it's like when you know, without a doubt, you know it's not going to be a struggle,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's going to be just for you
Mm-hmm.
because you deserve it. All that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't come with all that other stuff. The confusion. God is not an author of confusion.
He is not an author of confusion. And we got to understand that. Brother Pat said, feed them fish and they will eat. But if you teach them to fish, they'll feed you. It's a matter of us understanding if you're in operating in chaos, if you're operating in dysfunction, if you're operating in drama and you're always in something traumatic, that's not what God has for you. He says his yoke is easy.
And you know what?
So
Another thing too, Angela, is people. You got to understand too. Life has a way of beating us down.
mhm,
But we don't stay down.
right.
And another thing too is that if there's a vision for your life, follow your vision.
Mhm.
Do not let anything or anybody distract you from your own personal vision. Because if it doesn't, what is it? If it doesn't even flow in those areas, you see what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
just have to be like, okay, well, you know what? It's just not a fit. It's not going to where I'm going.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Right. You can't bring everybody with you,
So true.
and that's a hard thing
It
when
is.
you want to be a light for people.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes people just don't want that type of light.
And it goes back to Reverend Pat saying, learning when to let go and let God. sometimes what we feel like is great. It's a great idea. I want you to be a part of it. Let's
Yeah.
go, let's get it, let's do it, or whatever. And somebody else may not be as enthusiastic about it as you are. And then you're thinking, like, I don't understand what's going on with them, but it may not be
Exactly.
meant for them. A
It's
lot
not me.
of times
Yeah,
we
I don't take it personal because you know
and
what,
don't take it personal.
people are becoming to where you know what, I know who I am. I know this is not
Mhm,
a good fit. I've been in a situation where I force.
mhm,
I don't like forcing anymore. Forcing doesn't feel good. It's not my normal anymore.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's not good. It has to
Like
flow.
they say, let's stop normalizing forcing
I'm
things.
not.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not. None of that. Not no no. And there's nothing wrong with that. But people get offended
Mhm.
because it says, "Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to do what is you know what you see is best,
Right.
and don't get mad. Congratulate.
Yes.
That's what people don't
Absolutely.
do. People don't congratulate. They get offended.
Hmm.
You
And the
know.
spirit of offense is heavy, and it is very much present that people will get offended by things that really don't have anything to do with you. It's not a reason for you to get offended. It's not a reason for you to, be in your feelings. It's not a reason for you to do all those things because everything is not meant for you. And just because you don't get on this train doesn't mean another train is not coming.
Right.
Your vision and your train is waiting on you. And sometimes you've got to be mature enough to know that this is not for me. But I congratulate you on making your move. I'm excited for you
That's
doing
it.
your thing. I love seeing you boss up and get out here and make it happen. I'm enjoying that. Looking on, like I think I posted today, looking at my timeline, seeing what people are doing.
Isn't that wonderful? It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's encouraging, it's motivating, it's inspiring.
It
But
is.
that doesn't mean that you got to jump on their bandwagons. God is giving you your own vision. He's giving
See
you
what
your
happens?
own.
People get comfortable. No, listen to this, Angela. People get comfortable in a certain setting because it's familiar. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But if you're always in a familiar and you don't really see growth,
Right,
and you may just see just a little bit of growth. You see what I'm saying? But at this point in the game, either you want it or you don't want it.
right,
You see what I'm
right.
saying? So it's kind of
Hmm.
like, okay, maybe the atmosphere, your surroundings, your environment, I keep saying. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If your vision is bigger, then you're going to have to roll with the bigger.
Hmm. Right.
So whatever it takes for you, for instance, why people go ahead and get, go back to school to get some education, some more, diplomas under, right?
Hmm.
It's the same way. If you, especially I'm speaking like if you're an entrepreneur, you put yourself in an environment where you would want your business to be. In other words, you got to set it up. You got to set it up to the point where you want it to be, confident, because you know how people, when they advertise stuff, businesses, they'll advertise their marketing and everything. You put yourself in those positions.
Right,
You take
right.
yourself outside of, well, you know what, this is not working anymore. You see what I'm saying? Let's just start seeing of something that you can see your business vision going to, and you start surrounding yourself because now you come into other business people who are like-minded, literally,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you feed off of it, right?
Yes, yes.
But there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to make sure that whatever your niche is or whatever um, uh, gift or that you're in,
Hmm.
from business. I don't know why I keep wanting to say business, but I guess I better go here.
We're talking
Business.
to the business people today,
Hey,
baby.
yeah, business. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very like strategic and in making sure every move is handled to a T. When I say to a T, I'm talking about to a T. To be have anything longevity, and making sure that you get the right um, clientele you want.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to make sure that you're putting yourself in an environment to where, okay, you know what, this is the kind of finances that I would like to make.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, you know that your gift is good because we keep talking about this, right? We
Right. Right.
about knowing
Right.
who we are. You know what I'm saying? That we're empowered, we're legendary, we're champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a certain characteristic that that carries,
It's true. So
right?
true. So
Right.
true.
So you're,
So
you
true.
know, that way I keep talking about training and being ready and preparing. And when the time comes, are you really prepared?
That's
Right, because
good.
it will show. I mean, it will literally show because if we're a good steward over our life. Remember, we are talking about stewardship. Okay, so remember we were talking about all stewardships of our life. How are they? I mean, are they all? Are we even worked on them from the last time that we talked about them?
Right. Right.
Right, right.
Right.
So growth in your finances, growth, in your personal life. How
And
do
you
we
should see it. It should be some signs that is there.
something of growth? It's just like if you keep watering and you fertilizing the flowers and the roses and the spices, and they're growing,
Mm-hmm.
right? What you putting in your spirit? What are you watering it? Are you really growing? Are we or is
Exactly.
it just a simple fact of words with endless meaning? You see what I'm saying?
Right. It sounds
And
good,
so
but it's
yeah,
not
it sounds
productive.
and it's dropping like seeds in the soil, and it may look like there's some growth, but you know what? Do you know the difference between an herb or a weed?
Come on.
You feel what
Because
I'm saying?
they both will grow right there together. You got to know and
So what
have discernment
all
not
I
to
want to
pull up.
know is, are you are you crabgrass?
You got to
Are
know
you
the
that
difference.
Bermuda grass that's beautiful and green and thick and flush?
Because it
Girl.
both can grow up in the same space. I'm gonna go to Brother Pat's comment to what you said earlier. Folk just get offended because it's you. They are in no way attempting to do anything. They're just mad because it's you. But just like Coach Prime says, they're offended by your confidence. There are
Yeah.
some people who just make it happen. There are
Yeah.
some people who put some things out there and good morning, Shannon, and can bring you in a position where you can level up, where you
Yeah.
see growth in your life. You can get around like minded people. And as they say,
Yes.
iron sharpens iron. But the thing about it is, in getting in preparation, you've got to position yourself where if you're going to be a part of something, go all in. A lot of times people say, oh, well, I ain't going to give them everything. I'll be a part of it, but I ain't going to give it everything I got. Stop having that mentality because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
if you give it all you got, maybe God positioned you to connect with these people because what you're getting ready to do is going to bless you and benefit you for generations to come. But you've got to be able to say that if I'm going to be a part of this, I'm giving it all I got because the connections and the opportunities and the growth that you get is going to be exponential. God is saying, yes, you can do this on your own, and you can do this on your own, and you can do this on your own. But this situation here is going to give you exponential growth. It's like putting super growth on your flowers. And yes, they may eventually get there, but you can go further and faster with a group sometimes than you can by yourself. But you've got to have the discernment on which area of your life needs that. Some areas of your life need you to be solitary
Right.
and alone and out here doing what you do for you. Other season of your life, you need to partner and connect with people so that they can sharpen you and help you, become better, help
Mm.
you grow in areas where you may have been not as strong in.
Right.
And
Right.
you're able to feed off their strength and you're able to build yourself up and get wisdom and get discernment and increase your areas of expertise because you're connected with people, but you have to have the
Mm.
mindset and the discernment to know
Right.
whether or not you're hearing fluff or you're hearing
Right.
something that's going to help you to grow. Because, like Regina said,
Exactly.
you can see weeds grow right up beside them beautiful flowers, and you're going to have to pluck them weeds before they choke out
Exactly.
the beautiful flower. You
So
got to know.
you got to know.
You got to be able to see that and have that discernment. Reverend Pat said earlier, learning when to let go and let God. Sometimes you got to say that, you know what, I this is not what I expected it to be. And remove yourself from situations or understand that the weeds come as distractions to choke you out and take you out so that you
Yes.
don't grow up and be successful, that you don't grow and shine to your maximum
Yeah.
capability. You got to recognize them for what they are and pull them up by
Yeah.
the root. Weeds are not what you just clip down and let them keep growing up and popping up.
Yeah. The
Get
thing
them
is
jokers by the root.
focus on what focus on the main thing that you know that will benefit you, and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
If I can give you the advice, if there's something in your life, whether it's business, whether it's relationship or something, don't sacrifice it. If it's something that you think that this is it, you know what, then that's what you put your heart into. That's what you put your heart into.
This is the thing that I think, a lot of people, even in business, and I saw a post earlier, I'm going to read it, I thought was so good. We sometimes we always, you can hear from God and He can give
Yeah.
you a vision, but then you get sidetracked, you get stuck, and you don't want to make a move because you're trying to figure out, you're overwhelming yourself. You know how they say analysis paralysis. You're over analyzing things. You want things to be perfect. You're thinking that, oh, I need to have this, and this before I can do anything. And you're just stuck and there's no growth. And the thing about it is you want to see growth at all times.
Yeah.
Reverend says, are you in a position to be blessed? Are you prepared to carry out your purpose? These are
Yes.
questions that only you can answer. You can be given every tool and not use them, but want the results anyway. We must
Exactly.
examine ourselves and make the necessary changes to accomplish your goals. So I'm going to read what I saw earlier. It says, the next time you're stuck, overwhelmed, or procrastinating, buy a can of Goya beans. Have you ever been to the store and seen the Goya beans? It's a particular brand, Goya.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says it sounds ridiculous, right? When you're feeling stuck to go buy a can of beans, right? But it said this is what I thought too until I heard this story from a business mentor I respect. He was working with a business owner who just couldn't move forward, stuck in his head, overthinking everything. He knew what needed to be done, but he wasn't doing any of it. So the mentor gave him one task: go to the store and buy a can of Goya beans. The guy said, wait, what? Why? And the mentor replied, no questions, just go, buy the beans, take a picture, and send it to me. So the guy did, but he was still confused as to what I'm going to the store for and buying a can of Goya beans. But he goes to the store, grabs a random can of Goya beans, comes home, snaps a picture, and sends it to his mentor. So the mentor calls him and says, perfect. Now you get it. And the guy was like, get what? And the mentor says, it's not about the beans. It's about movement. It's about breaking the cycle of inaction. You don't need the perfect next step. You just need a next step. Then he told him, keep that can of Goya beans on your desk. Every time you feel stuck, every time you want to overthink instead of act, look at that can and remember Goya. Get off your ass. I love that because sometimes we
Yeah.
overthink and we don't position ourselves to be blessed. We don't position ourselves to be prepared to carry out our purpose.
That's
We
it.
get stuck, we stay there looking at everybody else. Then you panic and you're trying to run and be and do it. Oh, I see her doing that. Let me try and do this too. Or, oh, I see him doing that. Let me do that.
No, you gotta
Instead of,
focus. You gotta focus because if not, you'll be doing all this and master of nothing.
yes, because sometimes all you need is to move and allow God to give you what you need. But as long as you're staying in one space, as long as you're inactive, as
I
long as
believe,
you're
like, you know
overwhelmed.
what, we talked about this. I forgot when it was, but it was a business thing that Callie did,
Mm-hmm.
and Paula, remember Paula?
Yes.
On that day, she said, "Honey, if it's that $1 million idea or whatever it is, and you know it's solid, So if you guys have an idea, a
Mhm.
vision, or a dream, and you know that it's that one, don't jeopardize it for all these other little things too that you think are going to work.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? You got to be
Yes.
focused on one that's like, you know, hey, you know what? I know this could be it, and you got to put like consistency, consistency, consistency. When everybody else doesn't believe in it, consistency. When you're not gonna get the help, consistency. When people are trying to throw things at you, consistency. You know, they trying to make it as difficult as possible for you, consistency. Because
Right.
see it.
Even when they don't
Walk by
believe.
faith, not by sight. You don't see what I see.
Exactly. Exactly. And tune your ear to hear from God. Because,
Yeah,
when the flood came, Noah was out and everybody was laughing like he crazy. We ain't have, he talking this stuff and we ain't seen it before, we ain't heard it before, and we not worried about it. They out doing their
right.
thing. But he consistently kept moving and doing what God said. He kept putting the wood together. He kept building the ark. He kept doing everything. And when the time came and the rain came, the people who were laughing were looking like, hey, we need to get
Okay,
on
Miss
this ark
Phyllis.
with Noah. But you missed your opportunity because you didn't believe, but he was consistent. He kept his ear tuned to what God said until he saw what God was saying. He didn't know. He hadn't seen rain at that
Yeah,
time either. But he
right.
kept being consistent. He kept doing what he was supposed to do. He kept moving. He kept going. He kept following the vision that God gave him. He kept listening to the instructions that God gave him. And because he did, him and his family were able to outlast the flood. And they were able to come out and move forward with life. Where everybody else who was laughing and talking and saying they had whatever, they were ridiculing him, but he still stayed consistent. If you don't get anything else from today, be
Right.
consistent. Choose you. Run past it. I love that. If you're a sister that feels stagnant, I recommend the 52-week Bible study workbook for Black women by Naomi Jamil. It's unique because she uses the story of famous African women as a foundation for the Bible study. That's good. That's good. Y'all check that out. The 52-week Bible study workbook for Black women by Naomi Jamil. Get that because sometimes we need something to help jumpstart us. Sometimes the car is not moving because the battery's just been sitting too long. But if you can get somebody to give you a boost, that boost can help your battery get what it needs so that the car cranks, so that you can start
Right.
moving. Sometimes you need a jump start. Get you a jump start so that you can move forward with the things God has called you to do. Because listen, it's greatness. We're talking about, what you say, Regina? We're talking about being champions and trendsetters. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah. We
about,
don't have time for that. I don't have time for all that silliness. To be honest with you, if it doesn't flow, it just doesn't flow. You guys got to be obedient. And that you know what I'm saying? And it just is what it is. You don't stress yourself. You know,
right.
you got to do what's best for you and your life and what God has willed for your life. Can't worry about everybody else.
Amen.
You're not supposed to worry about
Amen.
everybody else.
Amen. Because the power is in choosing you. Choose you and keep doing what you do. That's it. Miss Phyllis already gave us the benediction. I believe God. Do you believe God? Because we believe God. Yes.
Yeah.
Believe God for what He's given you. And thanks, G. She said this was good. We appreciate it. All
Thank
right. So listen, this is Thursday for everybody who thought it was Wednesday. So this is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Get ready for a magnificent day today. Before we get there, let's embrace today. Jesus is Run Past It is very powerful because it's a reminder of the strength and resilience of African American women, and it uses scripture to study. So check that out. I'm telling
you.
y'all, Jesus said it's time to stop wasting time. It's time to get
Yes.
it. So, you've been talking about it. It's time to be about
Yes.
it. Point blank, period. All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. Enjoy your day. We will see you soon. Bye.